All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and honor and glory to where it's due. To Yahweh Bahashim Yahshua Bahashim HaKadosh. Giving all glory and honor to the Almighty Yahweh Bahashim Yahshua. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who were well, who taught us this truth. Salutations to the sincere brothers out there who preaching this truth and edifying their brothers and sisters with all sincerity and diligence. And salutations to the elect scattered abroad. This is your brother, Ayawab, coming to you today through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, Hashem HaKadosh, with another lesson entitled, Are we at the end? Because, man, it's like every day, every hour, every couple hours, something's popping up in the news feed, man. Either the top stories, anywhere you go, you see COVID updates, the most important coronavirus information all in one place. And I'm going to bring out a couple of these stories. But the one I really wanted to get was, you should be absolutely terrified about the economy right now. And that is what really motivated me to do this lesson after I read that. But I'm just going to skip through, I'm just going to go through this one, play this little clip right here. This was updated 2:45 a.m., March 17, 2020. I'm just going to play this. I think he said this, he made his video the other day, though. I believe so. I'm going to go ahead and play it.
It's important for the young and healthy people to understand that while they may experience milder symptoms, they can easily spread this virus, and they will spread it indeed, putting countless others in harm's way. We especially worry about our senior citizens. The White House Task Force meets every day and continually updates guidelines based on the fast evolving situation that this has become all over the world. It's all over the world. It's incredible what's happened in such a short period of time. On the guidelines of the task force, the new modeling conducted by Dr. Birx, and our consultation with governors, we've made the decision to further toughen the guidelines and blunt the infection now. We'd much rather be ahead of the curve than behind it, and that's what we are. Therefore, my administration is recommending that all Americans, including the young and healthy, work to engage in schooling from home when possible, avoid gathering in groups of more than 10 people, avoid discretionary travel, and avoid eating and drinking at bars, restaurants, and public food courts. If everyone makes this change, or these critical changes and sacrifices now, we will rally together as one nation, and we will defeat the virus, and we're going to have a big celebration all together. With several weeks of focused action, we can turn the corner and turn it quickly.
Okay, and the time on the thing says 3:22. So, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was yesterday, March 16th at 3:22 that he announced that, because he said about no groups, no larger than 10. They suggesting. Jake ain't gonna listen to that. Jake don't want to listen to that. Jake want to be seen. But I'm just going to briefly scroll through it. It says Americans are asked for more sacrifices as coronavirus keeps spreading. Each day, more Americans are finding new restrictions put on their lives as the deadly novel coronavirus infects more people. Governments are being forced to limit where people can go, what they can do, and how many can gather. Many restaurants across the country can't have dine-in customers or guests. Even some public beaches in Florida are closing. Yeah, I seen Miami Miami closed their beach. And I went and I eat Mexican food. I like Mexican food. And I went to the little restaurant, and I don't dine in there anyways. And I order my food, then I go home. I've always done that though. But I was getting my food, then a girl walked in and said, "Can I get a seat in the little Mexican?" The Latino dude said, "Yeah, well, we can't have no customers inside. You can only order. You can only like order a pickup. So they not, even in where I live, they not letting nobody eat inside. Or if it was at least that one Mexican restaurant. So that was Cause is a testimony. The one that I go to, the one that I usually go to, they ran out of rice. And I said, I need some rice. So I went to the other Mexican restaurant. And when I went there, that's when the girl walked in and said, hey, can I get a seat? So I feel like that was spiritual for me to see that, to show that, hey, man, you can't, this is coming. Lord willing, we here. Are we here, though? Are we at the end? It sure looks like it, as me and the Akim was talking about earlier today. This could be a dress rehearsal. But the dress rehearsal ain't too far behind the actual goal. But anyways, I'm going to continue on. It says, as New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy told CNN on Monday night, while this may be painful, the alternative is a lot more painful. In his state, residents are being told they should stay home from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. unless they absolutely have to go out. But in the Bay Area, billions of people are under orders to shelter in place at all times. There are exceptions. In San Francisco, people are okay to take a walk, but they need to remember to keep 6 feet away from others. So they under order to shelter in place at all times. Let's see what that says. And let's watch this. I ain't even going to. It says almost 7 million California residents ordered to shelter in place.
As the death toll mounts from the novel coronavirus, questions are rising about whether U.S. officials might have gotten it wrong about how the virus spreads. On March 1st, Secretary of Health and Human Services Alex Azar said on ABC's This Week that it's mainly spread by people who are already sick.
You really need to just focus on the individuals that are symptomatic. It really does depend on symptomatic presentation.
The website for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention saying the same. Can someone spread the virus without being sick? The answer from the CDC, some spread might be possible before people show symptoms, but this is not thought to be the main way the virus spreads. But in Massachusetts, more than 80 people contracted coronavirus at a conference held by this biotech company. The State Department of Health telling CNN that none of the people who attended displayed any symptoms during the conference. Epidemiologist Michael Osterholm is director of the Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy at the University of Minnesota.
We now have conclusive evidence that this disease is also being transmitted through asymptomatic carriers or people who show no symptoms. And trying to stop that transmission is like trying to stop the wind.
And this study, which has yet to be peer-reviewed, found that in Singapore and in Tianjin, a city in China, infection was transmitted about 2 to 3 days before symptom onset. And that makes the outbreak much more difficult to control.
Honestly, with this kind of transmission, we're never going to stop it. What we best are able to do is slow it down.
None of the experts CNN spoke to could say exactly what percentage of people are getting infected with the virus by people who don't have symptoms. CNN reached out to Secretary Azar and the CDC, but did not receive responses. On Saturday, Dr. Deborah Birx, the coordinator of the White House Coronavirus Response Task Force, sent a somewhat different message, suggesting that people under age 20 could possibly be spreading the virus without having any symptoms.
And until you really understand how many people are asymptomatic and asymptomatically passing the virus on, we think it's better for the entire American public to know that the risk of serious illness may be low, but they could be potentially spreading the virus to others.
Some experts say this is a step in the right direction, but still.
This is a time for straight talk. This is a time when we have to tell the public what we know and don't know.
A time for straight talk about a virus that might be spreading in ways we hadn't anticipated. Now, when a virus is spread mainly by people who are sick and really showing symptoms, it's a lot more straightforward to control it. You isolate the sick people. But when a virus, when asymptomatic spread is really at play, as appears to be with coronavirus, as Dr. Osterholm said, it's like trying to stop the wind.
And they're not going to be able to stop this. Lord, if it be the Lord's will, they're not going to be able to stop this. And as other people and brothers were saying that they just, this is all just a little, their scheme, their little organized event. It says nearly 7 million people living in a wide swath of Northern California, including Silicon Valley, are being ordered to shelter in place starting at midnight Monday night as authorities try to stop the novel coronavirus from spreading. I ain't gonna read all this because I really don't want to make this too long. So it says, and also my brother's school, they shut down for 2 weeks. They still got work from home, but you know. It says the Trump administration says people should not gather in groups of more than 10 and ask Americans to stay away from bars, restaurants, and food courts for the next 15 days and do not travel if possible. So come. Says the virus has infected more than 4,400 people and killed at least 80 in the United States, according to the health officials. So we almost here, or they at least showing us something as it's boosting our spirits, it's boosting our morals, but they're the heavy spirit. And I'm just going to get this one real quick, and then I'm going to go to the one. It says, Twitter deletes dangerous coronavirus tweets by former Sheriff David Clarke. And I'm just going to get to his tweets, what he was saying. One tweet he said, not one media outlet had asked about George. And he looked like I don't know, from here he looked like a Jake, but I don't know. No one media outlet has asked about George Soros' involvement in the flu panic. He is somewhere involved in this. Says Clarke has also. It says Clarke also urged people to go to bars and restaurants and to demand that schools remain open, directly contradicting advice from national health experts on how to help stem the spread of COVID-19. It says, going to the streets, folks. Visit bars, restaurants, shopping malls, churches, and demand that your schools reopen now. If government doesn't stop this foolishness, stay in the streets and government control over our lives. If not now, when? This is an exploitation of a crisis. It says Clarke, a favorite of President Donald Trump, and families called in 2016 for pitchforks and torches. I ain't worried about what he said back in 2020. So So he wants everybody to. He's saying that it ain't even that bad. He's saying take to the streets, riot. He wants people to riot, and that what brings to mind is sedition among men. And we playing this second Ezra 15 out because it looked like we here. And this is what that former dude's trying to do. That former sheriff trying to do. Second Ezra 15 verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So he's saying, don't worry about what they saying. Don't worry about what they're saying. But that's all I wanted to get on that one. Now, what I wanted to get, it says you should be absolutely terrified about the economy. The only good news is that the feds might be spooked enough to actually help. So this was March 17, 2022, 21 a.m. It said we appear to have reached a stage where just about everybody is terrified of what the coronavirus outbreak will do to the economy. It says the Federal Reserve pulled the fire alarm this weekend, announcing that it would cut interest rates to near zero and take other emergency measures that it last used during the 2008 financial meltdown. The U.S. stock market responded to this news on Monday with its worst trading session since 1987, during which the S&P 500 plummeted by around 12%. It says economists at the UCLA Anderson School of Management think the economy has already stopped growing and will contract at a 6.5% rate next quarter. Goldman thinks 5%. Former White House economist Kevin Haste, a relentless optimist if there ever was one, told CNN that the world faced close to 100% chance of recession, and April could bring 1 million job losses. Man, we damn near in April. We are damn near in April. It says what is a relentless optimist? Let's see what this does. I just want to look up the definition of relentless optimist. A term that includes irrational joy and hope in near dire situations despite all definable logic. Usually those employing such feeling find that situation work out in the end by twisting their logic to fit their needs. Usually those who are a relentless optimists are stubborn, high energy, positive, and ever so often annoying, but always eager to keep going and do what they feel is the right thing. So they're saying this dude is positive. They're saying that he's positive about everything, and he tries to look at the good and tries to look at the good. Well, he's saying he ain't finding no good right here. Saying that the world faced close to 100. Man, it says the world faces close to 100% chance of a recession. And April could bring 1 million job losses. Even President Trump momentarily lowered his reality distortion field and admitted the nation may be headed for recession. His former aide Gary Cohn thinks we're probably at the start of one already. So we got people thinking we already in the start of a recession. One thinks we got a nearly 100% chance to a recession. Hey, man, Lord willing, we here at the end, because we need to get out of this place. It says one of the few people who does not appear to be particularly ruffled is Larry Kudlow, the former TV talking head who is now Trump's top economic advisor. He told reporters that any downturn would be brief, a mere weeks and months. This is worrisome during Kudlow is notoriously I didn't even read this part. It says this is worrisome since Kudlow is notoriously wrong about everything. Man, they don't even trust these people, man. It says he is the George Costanza economic forecaster. Whatever the man predicts, it is safe to expect the opposite. So they not even believing what so-called Trump's top economic advisor is saying. They don't believe what Larry Kudlow is talking about. They just said that he's notoriously wrong about everything. Oh, said that's funny. So they saying whatever Kudlow says, expect the opposite. It says, in other words, they're saying regardless of what Trump's top economic forecaster says or economic advisor says, the conventional wisdom is absolutely correct. Everyone should be terrified about what's coming. Our public health officials have no idea how long this crisis may last, but China just released a batch of data showing the fight against COVID-19, which required mass lockdowns throughout the country, basically demolished its economy over the past several months. Here in the U.S., we've already seen early signs of the virus's economic toll. On Saturday night, restaurants had 40% fewer diners compared to a year before, according to Open Table, and that was before New York City and Washington State closed all of theirs down. More than 12 million Americans work in restaurants, bars, and fast food. It's not hard to see where all this is going. Our economy is headed into a strange, fluid hibernation. And that's about it. Oh, right here. It says Mitt Romney wants to send $1,000 checks to every adult. I'm in the middle. Let's see if I can. Right there, if you can see that. That's where I'm starting at. No. It says Mitt Romney wants to send $1,000 checks to every adult, which would help tide families over the buoy the economy a bit. Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas also says he wants to get more cash in the hands of affected workers. The pressure in Congress to do something dramatic seems to be growing, along with the sense of danger. Meanwhile, the White House said that it is aiming for $800 billion in total stimulus. I'm just get to the end. Everyone is frightened, but as a result, Washington might conceivably pull its act together to prevent some. No, let's not hope they do. So, man, we are, Lord willing, we there, man. And I was seeing that if they giving everybody money, so I forget what it was, but they giving everybody money, and then they just giving them. I don't know how it worked, but it was something about a debt jubilee. I forget. I would have to watch the video, but the dude that AMTV, Christopher Green, he was talking about this. He said they're gonna give everybody money, and then that's gonna lead to a debt jubilee, and then it's gonna lead to a cashless society. That's what he was talking about. Maybe I'll put in the link if y'all want to watch it. But man, they should be terrified. We not terrified, of course. We rejoice at this. We rejoice at this. But this is Isaiah 24. I'm going to start at 1. He said, Behold, the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahshua maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly despoiled, for the Lord has spoken this word. The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away, the haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of Tabert ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with the strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down, every house is shut up, that no man may come in. Here's a point right here, which all of it was a point, but what I really wanted to get was right here. Verse 11, there is a crying for wine in the streets. Our joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. So Babylon's mirth is gone, man. Babylon ain't got no mirth no more. Ain't gonna be no more rejoicing. Ain't gonna be no happiness. Ain't gonna be no more merge and giving and merge. Ain't gonna be no more of that. Lord willing, we here, man. Lord willing, Yahweh Shemashah is gonna make his appearance known to these heathen, to show them who he truly is. That he is the Most High of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the power of Israel. That he is our power. Their mirth is gone, man. Their cup is overfilled. Their cup runneth over. This is Jeremiah 51:8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reached unto heaven and is lifted up even unto the skies. Babylon can't be healed, man. I just read that the economy stopped growing. That they said this economy stopped growing. Man, forsake her, man. She's done for. She's through. Babylon is through, man. Babylon is through. Man, we make no turning, man. Get out. Get out now. Wake up. Romans 13, verse 11, and that knowing the time that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed, man. It's time to wake. Awake. It's time for us to be redeemed. Lord willing, we at the end of the end of the end of the end. Push that chip. Push that martial law. Jacob's trouble. World War III. Man, we ready, man. Lord willing, we there. And don't take that chip. That RFID chip. And I'm just gonna bring it out just for edification. I believe it's 13. This is Revelation 13 and verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And man, they gotta make that chip mandatory, man. Make that chip mandatory. We waiting. What is that? Slovakia. Revelation 12, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. He had but a short time, man. He only got so long to do what he got to do. He ain't got this earth forever, man. He hasn't been given the earth forever. He's not going to rule forever. The Lord is going to make his name known. The Lord is going to, Yahweh Shemeshah, he's going to bring them to their knees. And they're going to come down, they're going to go out fighting though. And we got to be ready. We got to be ready. And I'm ended on this. You already know 2nd Esdras 15, because that's what it looks like. The prophecy shall not speak, or shall speak and not lie, Salakia. Behold, 2nd Esdras 15 from the top. Behold, speak down the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. They faithful, which means they're going to happen. They true. Jump down to verse 5. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Their works, just look at Babylon today, man. Their works are fulfilled. They wickedness is fulfilled. This is the most wicked kingdom, man. Verse 6, for wickedness has, I'm going to read again. Verse 6, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Their cup runneth over, man. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto him, and the souls of the just complain continually. I'm going to jump down to verse 16 and verse 17. It's like a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. And that's what's coming, man. Lord willing, that's what's coming. This is done for. This shit's through. Lord willing. But that's all I had. I just wanted to bring out that article about the economy. Lord willing, this recession is coming. It's looming. They said a nearly 100% chance. Nearly 100% chance, man, of a recession. Some saying we at the start the beginning stages of one. They said up to 1 million job losses in April. We damn near in April. Are we there? Are we at the end? Only the Lord knows if this is really the end, but we waiting patiently, we hoping. And if it's not the end, then we're going to continue to fight, continue to push forward. You never know. We might not be on the streets next week, this week, the week after. So everybody stay strong, stay focused, stay diligent. I like to say, Kal Halayim Law, Yahweh Bahashem Yasha, Bahashem Ar-Kadas, giving all glory and honor to the Almighty Yahweh Bahashem Yasha, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well and who taught us the truth. Shalom to the sincere brothers out there who are preaching this truth and edifying the brothers and sisters who are setting diligence. And shalom to the elect scattered abroad. Lord willing, the video was edifying to the spirit, to the body, to the fold. Until next time, Kwam Yashala. Shalom.